affects the flow of water getting into the drains.
I know one place that we will love to see at least that inch of rain, though, is across the Northeast, where we just are coming off our driest fall on record. Wherever you see these little dots, that is indicative of the driest fall on record meteorological fall, September through November. And you can see how tightly packed they are here across the Northeast.
Yeah, so it tells you just how widespread the drought was. It wasn't like one city like we had in Texas. It was widespread here in the Northeast. In fact, many spots coming in at #1 for their driest fall on record. And these go from meteorological fall. So from the beginning of September through the end of November, only 3 inches in Wilmington, Delaware, Newark, New Jersey, 5 inches in Bangor, Maine over that 3-month period, which may sound like a lot in some cases, but we average a lot more than that.
Right. I mean, a place like Vegas, 0 measurable rain. So maybe you got like a sprinkle here or there, but I know Vegas is a desert climate. You think of that, but there are a lot of places across the country that just had such below average rainfall, and it's resulted in drought conditions. I mean, where you're seeing the red here around Boston, here portions of southern New Jersey, that red is extreme drought. The moisture that we've been seeing has just not been making it all the way to the coast.
And it's been relatively light, not enough to really wipe out the drought. And we haven't had any big snowfall at all really back towards the I-95 corridor. We have on the flip side seen a lot more lake effect snow. And I know Michigan's been hit with that, as well as Western New York and northern New England. So we should see improvement here over the next few weeks once that snow kind of melts into the ground.
I mean, if we can get the ground to thaw out and absorb it.
Cold.
It's been so cold. But, when we do finally get that to happen, if we do, there'll be copious amounts of snow melt to work with. We've seen so much snow in the past week.
I mean, if you were to shrink that 65, almost 66 inches of snow in Casterly, New York, I mean, there's a lot of water in there.
Yeah.
If it were all to melt at once, which we don't anticipate, and it's not like we still have almost 5.5 feet of snow still on the ground. It condenses over time and gets really thick and icy even when it gets that cold.
And that's what a lot of us are dealing with. We've got more snow in the forecast. I mean, in some places up over a foot still to go with this system. So we're just adding more on top of 5 feet in some places.
Really cool to see all the behind the scenes stuff that kind of goes on it's not just building the plane, make sure it works mechanically, but also preventatively with the weather.
Right. It's good to know, especially with weather like this, that there are people working on that and helping to keep us safe. We've got some really intense lake effect snow bands happening right now. I was just checking because it looks really impressive in Cleveland currently. Yeah. Current observation down to about 1.5 miles visibility. Feels like 13 degrees with that snow coming down. So not fun in Cleveland at all right now.
And there's big white caps on the lake too, because just how strong those winds are. A little bit more sunshine here back towards the west, but it is cold. We are below freezing everywhere. A few passing snow showers in Detroit. A lot of these, though, they're not really causing a lot of travel impacts, more just minor accumulations.
Some heavy snow there crossing out of the southwestern portions of Lake Michigan. But, I mean, otherwise, you're not seeing those intense snow bands there like we're seeing off of Lake Erie or Lake Ontario right now.
So far, all the big hubs here in the Midwest look to be doing okay. I know de-icing is an issue, and that's not a delay, but if you got a close layover or something, that can always make it a little nerve-wracking.
A little nerve-wracking. You don't want to waste any time when you have a close layover. Surprised we've got this green bubble at Cleveland, but we do, so we will take that. You can see some heavy snow still continuing to come down near Buffalo, but especially Syracuse. We've got this really intense snow band, probably just north of Syracuse right now.
Some of that's trying to squeeze all the way down, almost to Albany, not quite. It's amazing to me that we've already seen the sunset in Albany. As far as flight delays go, I know Boston was dealing with an 1.5-hour delay because of wind. So it's not just the snow, it's the wind, which has still been very problematic here.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing here as we look at the travel bubbles, where you're seeing the red and the oranges. Most of these are, if they're weather related, going to be related to that wind.
Oh, yeah. And some of the big hubs like Dulles, LaGuardia, Newark, and Boston all being impacted by that.
There in Cleveland. So it is a mess. If you're, let's see what time is it, 4:30. If you're getting ready to leave work there in Cleveland, I might wait a little bit until maybe some of that visibility improves, because the roadways are probably a bit messy at this point right now as well. You can see some of the winds that we've got gusting to 30 miles per hour in Detroit, 26 in Buffalo. Starting to see those winds pick up in places like Boston. Those winds are gusting to 24 miles per hour. It's causing some travel delays there at Boston Logan. Got very heavy snow. I just showed you what it looks like in Cleveland. You're in that heavy snow band coming off of Lake Erie right now, but we've got this look at this incredibly impressive snow band. It's coming through just about north of Syracuse right now. You have some crazy heavy snow within that. That is stretching, almost to the state line right now with that lake effect snow. And then, of course, you can see the other areas where we're getting some lighter lake effect snow. Marquette, you've got that there in the UP. 24 in Alpena, cloudy conditions for you. Detroit, you've had some scattering flurries here or there. Those temperatures below freezing. So that could be impacting you. Taking a closer look at that very heavy snowfall band. It is just to the north of Syracuse, so that is good news. It's not in that I-90 corridor, because if this was set up just a little bit farther south, right over I-90, man, would we have a problem for travel going on there. This is over 150 miles, so we are almost getting that snow to Albany right now from the very eastern portions of Lake Ontario. Thank you. Our weather producer, Heather, kind of putting that on for me. So we've got a really intense lake effect snowfall band going on there. We've got some thunder associated with the rain that we're seeing off the Cape. So we've also got wind chills along with this system that's been moving through. It's been ushering in some really, really cold air. And now it feels like 11 degrees in Pittsburgh, feels like 18 in Binghamton, and we'll continue to see these temperatures dropping over the next several hours. It is going to be brutally cold tomorrow morning for a lot of these places, Chris. For a place like, say, Rochester, New York, looking pretty snowy and